In this module, we will learn the inputs, tools and techniques, and outputs of the Perform Integrated Change Control process. Monitoring and controlling processes focus on determining how the project is performing relative to the approved plan and influencing future project execution to improve performance. However, since changing one aspect of a project can have a major impact on other project constraints, it is important for changes to be well controlled. For instance, if a change needs to be made to the scope of the project, potential changes to schedule, budget, quality, or risk need to be evaluated. This is the essence of the Perform Integrated Change Control process. As change requests are generated in other project management processes, the Perform Integrated Change Control process provides a mechanism for the review of potential changes in order to approve or reject them. The Change Management Plan is an important input to the Perform Integrated Change Control process, since this is the process responsible for evaluating and deciding on the approval or rejection of change requests and implementing such changes. Some of the important elements that may be found in a change management plan may include the following. Describing the structure of the Change Control Board. This can include the stakeholders involved, their roles and responsibilities, and the various tiers for projects with complex change control. Describing the change control meetings. How frequently will the board meet? What type of vote is required for approval? The implementation of a change request form to standardize the information required to issue a request. Describing the procedures following the approval of a change. Who is responsible for updating? How will documentation be updated to reflect historical information and new changes? How will updates be communicated with other project stakeholders? Another key input to the integrated change control process is change requests. These two small words have a major role in the project management framework outlined in the PMBOK guide. Simply put, change requests represent suggested modifications to project baselines or deliverables to make corrections based on actual performance or suggestions to improve future performance. Change requests are an output to several other project management processes in the execution and monitoring and controlling process groups. In project execution, change requests can be made by the project resources as they are performing project work. The project management team may issue change requests while controlling the scope, schedule, and cost. Other project stakeholders, such as the sponsor, customer, or external stakeholders, can issue change requests during performance reporting and scope validation. These change requests can be further described into three major categories. Corrective action are requests to influence execution to bring future results closer in line with baseline plans. These may include requests to reduce scope, fast track or crash the schedule, or adjust a baseline. Preventative action are requests to perform activities that can reduce the probability of negative consequences. This may include adding a task as a result of risk response. Defect repair are requests to fix identified defects found in a deliverable or project document. Change control is important because some defects may not be worth repairing. All monitoring and controlling processes, except for this one, include change requests as an output. This makes sense because anytime the project management team or other project stakeholders review project deliverables or performance, opportunities for improvement may be identified. Change requests can also be generated from project executing processes. When performing the work packages, project team members may discover constraints or think of better approaches to work. The project management team may request changes when improving quality processes or managing the project team, project stakeholders, and procurement contracts. So what happens to all of these change requests? They will be reviewed and evaluated during this process. Other inputs to the Perform Integrated Change Control process include work performance reports, enterprise environmental factors, and organizational process assets. Work performance reports help to give the stakeholders involved in this process a better understanding of project performance to help improve their decision-making. Enterprise environmental factors to consider include stakeholder culture and the organization's existing infrastructure and tools. Finally, organizational process assets may contribute lessons learned or provide organizational policies and guidelines that can be used to shape the way that this process is performed. There are several tools and techniques for the Perform Integrated Change Control process, which can be discussed together. Expert judgment, change control tools, analysis, decision-making, and meetings. The idea is that as change requests are generated throughout the project lifecycle, key project stakeholders may need to meet to evaluate the overall impact that change will have to all project objectives. On a small project, the project manager may have the authority to decide on all change requests, while on a more complex project, the sponsor, customers, and other stakeholders may need to be involved. The parties that participate in the Change Control Board should be defined in the Change Management Plan, as well as the frequency of their meetings and other rules that govern how the change control meetings will be performed. During these meetings, the Change Control Board will rely on their own expert judgment or request subject matter expertise from project team members, consultants, or industry groups. For example, if a change request is submitted to increase the scope of the project, the Change Control Board may call on a scheduler and cost controller to estimate the anticipated impact to schedule and budget. Change control tools will include the change and configuration management systems, which are both part of the project management information system. These systems help to ensure all updates are properly documented and communicated. There are 4 outputs defined for the Perform Integrated Change Control process. One important output is approved change requests. If change requests for the scope, schedule, or cost baselines are approved, then the appropriate baselines must be updated within the project management plan. Approved change requests for defect repair must be implemented in the direct and manage project execution process and will therefore be an input to that process. It is important for all decisions, accepted or rejected, to be tracked throughout the project lifecycle. These historical records will be useful during lessons learned sessions and can be utilized in future projects. The change log is a project document that is used to track all change requests, their current status, and their anticipated impact to project objectives. When more formal change control is used, this might be automated within the project management information system. Another major output of the Perform Integrated Change Control process is updates to the project management plan. Since change requests typically involve changes to baselines, it is important that baselines are updated following proper configuration and change control procedures. While baselines will evolve throughout the project lifecycle, the project is said to have only one set of baselines at any given moment. For example, if the project schedule has been approved and baselined, we may label it Schedule Baseline or Version 1. If a change request to schedule is approved a month later, we can establish a new baseline called Schedule Baseline Version 2. From that moment forward, all performance measurement will be performed against Version 2 of the baseline. In addition to updating the baselines, updates can also be made to the subsidiary plans. For example, the change management plan may originally state the change control meeting will be held once a month. but the project manager may decide they should occur more frequently. Updates to the plan can be made following the procedures for configuration management. Simply put, the Perform Integrated Change Control process is the implementation of the change management plan. This is where the Change Control Board evaluates each change request, its impact to each of the project objectives, and accepts or rejects them based on the best interest of the project as a whole. This process will be performed continuously throughout the project lifecycle. As changes are made to the project plans, project documents, and project baselines, it is important these changes are controlled by following the guidelines entailed in the configuration and change management plans.